Welcome back to It's a Graham and Matt podcast.
What's
Season
up?
2. We're
Season
here.
2.
We're live in front of the YouTubes. Thank you for joining us. We're here for you. If you were watching the initial link, somehow we got banhammered for absolutely nothing. Don't know why. Doesn't make any sense to me. But
we'll work on making sure that we'll give it a reason here soon.
It doesn't make sense to anyone.
Yeah, I'm Matt.
Yo, and I'm Graham.
And I'm Alan.
And this is our boy Alan down below. Are you below us? Where are you at, Alan?
Yeah. I'm below. I'm below.
He's below us.
He's always below us.
Yeah. So yeah, we were banhammered. But yeah. Anyways, we're back. Season 2, baby. If you watched us at all last season, we had some great episodes, some great guests. We had Jeff and Jordan at the end there, and Tammy Gay Baker. Dustin.
Rubber Ducky and Death said we were canceled.
Oh shit, that's not good. That's not good.
I'm just kidding.
It's your extra white flannel and rosy red beard you got going on there.
Oh yeah.
See, I've been on COVID protocol for the last 2 weeks. I got COVID probably from somebody where I work, and all I've been able to do is sit at home and try and grow this beard and survive. And luckily, it wasn't too bad for me.
Hey, welcome.
Matt's working on getting those sales up by making out with everybody. It seems like.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Welcome to the club, boy. It's an awful.
You guys
club.
hear my child getting yelled at in the background?
I can't.
No, that's good, because I can.
Nope. I can't hear him. But yeah, I imagine that must be frustrating for you.
Yeah, that's fun. So here we are. We're focusing on season 2. We had a great season 1. We talked about that. Season 2, we have a lot of changes that we're trying to look at here. So what did we talk about for changes here? We're going to do more live videos on YouTube, and post our link there on Facebook or whatever. Facebook, we haven't really focused on Facebook much. I don't know. I think our focus is just trying to have like more of a natural cycle, right? Than trying to have like a false cycle by just lambasting everybody like Amway on Facebook and seeing who we can get. Right?
Well, we're not trying to get zucked either.
Really. Yeah. No. And so with that, with doing lives, there's the scream. Holy moly. With doing lives, it's terrible, dude. With doing lives, that's gonna be awesome, and we're gonna interact with you guys on YouTube and Facebook when you guys are watching it. Matt, I think, is taking care of that tonight. And then we're gonna add more guests. We're gonna have a lot more guests this season too, so that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we found that typically we tend to have our best conversations when we have those extra people on, and it tends to not turn into a whole situation where we're just sitting there agreeing with each other. Although I think what we have in store for tonight, you're going to hear some disagreements between the three of us. But yeah, we're really excited. We had some great feedback from season 1. We had a lot of fun doing it, and we're excited to switch some things up this season, and come at you live like we are tonight.
Yeah.
So, with that being said,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
It's basically we are now Monday Night Raw.
Exactly.
Oh geez, yeah. There's another reason for us to get kicked off of YouTube tonight.
just a little less leotards and everything. That's what we're looking at. So during our intermission, I don't know if you guys remember, like us talking about our homework for season 2, and that was to watch the Snyder Cut, Justice League Snyder Cut. Oh, yeah. I gotta say, Saturday I got home at like 8:30. I was like, all right, let's watch some Snyder Cut. But nobody told me that this freaking movie was 4 hours long.
Yes.
But you know what? I gotta say, by the end of it, I didn't feel like I had just watched a 4-hour movie. To keep it short, I loved every minute of it. But here's the thing about it, right? So if I could say like the things I liked the most, I really liked that they took more time to develop the characters. And I think that's what a lot of people are going to say. But I mean, like going into more background, spoiler alert, if anybody hasn't watched this, I don't care. you're gonna get it. So
It's been out now for like almost a month. I mean, come on.
yeah, if you haven't watched it, you're probably too poor for HBO
I mean,
Max, and I have no pity.
No.
No,
It's
I'm
not.
just
It's
kidding.
not even that you're too poor. Yeah, whatever.
Bro. Alan hooked my poor ass up, so
I mean,
I told somebody else to hook them up too.
they hand out like trial subscriptions to like HBO Max like all the time. So
Yeah,
No,
that'd be the way to do it.
I called Alan. He's like, "Man, have you watched the Snyder Cut yet?" I'm like, "No, man, I don't have HBO Max." He's like, "I made you a link, and then a profile, and then he freaking sent me his info." And so yeah, thanks, Alan.
Yeah.
mhm.
So I loved the backstories. I thought they did a really good job of going into more, like especially with like Aquaman and Cyborg for sure. Like I
Yeah,
feel like Cyborg kind of just like popped into the original one, and you really didn't know much about him before that. And I felt like they did a really great job with that. And then the mother boxes in the beginning with Superman's like his dying scream and that
That was
waking up the
great.
mother boxes.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic. I just really loved how much they took the time to explain things. Now, what I hated, first of all, 4-3 is an ass format. 4-3
What?
sucked.
Let me tell you, the first time I turned it on, and I'm like, I didn't catch that. I was looking at something else at like right as it started. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why is it in this weird? Why is it in 4-3? Why isn't it in
Yeah.
like letterbox? And I'm like, so I paused it and I started googling it. I'm like, why is it doing this? And it's like to preserve the Zack Snyder's vision or whatever. Because this, I guess, like apparently what he wanted it to feel like a like reading a comic book tile. Like
Yeah.
that's
Weird.
that's why it's
Yeah.
presented in 4-3. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm with you though that I'm not a fan of that format though.
Also, us old people have really bad peripheral vision, so it's easier just to focus on the center than everything else
Oh.
on the outside. It reminded me of
Sure.
it reminded me of watching the old Superman on a tube TV. So
That's what it felt like. It felt like
Yeah.
I was watching something on a tube TV. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. Once you start watching, you tend to forget that you're watching it on that format, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Here's some things I didn't quite understand though. So I didn't understand. Shit. Oh yeah. So Aquaman and Mira. So like, where does the Aquaman movie fit into this? Is
Okay.
it after Justice League?
Yes.
Is it before Justice League?
So basically, after the failure of Justice League, which is what I refer to the other cut as.
Of course, you have some gimmick name for
Oh,
it.
that's not just me. That's a lot of like DC fans are calling it the Justice League. But like,
Yeah.
but basically, like after the failure of that, Aquaman was basically like they went back and they're like, okay, we kind of have to reset because that was essentially a creative failure. And
Yeah.
so like Aquaman is supposed to be set after that, but there is a lot of like weird continuity errors because of like the way because like in Aquaman like they essentially tell you that like Arthur Curry hasn't seen Volko in like since he was like a preteen or a teenager, and it doesn't make sense if like he like goes back and meets him in Aquaman without like saying when Justice League like was basically set like pretty like almost right before the events of Aquaman. I mean, like there is like you can see like the like where the bare bones of the plot started, like because they refer to like his brother King Orm as like trying to stir up all the kingdoms to go to war against the surface and stuff. But yeah, like they like the continuity. You almost have to look at it as like the Aquaman we got is more or less like Earth like 4, Earth 5, and Justice League or Justice League is like Earth like 37 or something.
That's the part that I have a hard time with, like what happened here with this whole Whedon thing and Snyder Cut thing is that now it's too easy to just talk about the multiverse to say, hey, we fucked up on these series and we're just gonna say it's a multiverse situation because that's the only excuse you can have. It's like X-Men, right? Like you watch the whole X-Men timeline and the first 2 were freaking awesome and then they just went like we're just gonna capitalize on bullshit and write this really terrible storyline. And even, like I just watched Dark Phoenix the other night.
Oh,
Trash.
it was
I
It
heard
like
that.
absolute
it
trash.
did no justice
Oh.
to tie things up or end the whole series. And that's how I feel like with DC is DC has like after watching this, I was like, man, this would have set the foundation for like phenomenal DC future. Now it's just all messed up because like everyone's gone, nobody wants to come back, or the people who want to come back can't come back because they're like, screw you, we're not going to have you back. Um, really just mess with it. I think
Well-
the thing that I liked about this one a little bit too is the first one was really focused on Batman being the center point,
Mhm.
and I freaking love Batman, but I like how this one was like the center point was Superman. Like without Superman, like the whole goal was like to bring him back and to get him back involved to take care of this instead of being Batman like the center point of this. He's just a cast member, I think, which was really cool. Where from beginning to end, from the death to Superman being like in the dream realm, I was like, man, like the whole thing's about him, which is super
And-
important. Which
and
is cool.
what I thought was really cool was that in the Snyder cut is they took Batman from Joss Whedon trying to basically turn him into DC's version of Tony Stark and like actually put him back in the Batman role. Like we all of us know that Batman and Superman are the founding members of the Justice League. So it was Batman's job, to go and gather all these metahumans and heroes and gods and demigods and all that stuff. And I thought that was like like you said, a way better job that he was not the front and center. And like you said, Matt, that's Cyborg then became like kind of like the center story. It was really more
because
focused on
he is
him.
much bigger than what was ever anticipated. Like his
Oh,
storyline.
and he had such a minor role in the Justice League. Like he didn't matter in that one at all. And then like they brought like his importance elevated so much in that Snyder cut, and like everything basically hinged on his ability to do X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
But I think my biggest hang up with the DC movies so far now is they didn't plan it right. Like, and I'm sure that seems obvious, but if you look at how the MCU started, right? So the first movie in the MCU, was it Iron Man or was it Hulk?
Nope, it was Iron Man, and then Hulk came out like 3 months later.
Yeah,
Like,
and so like
give or
every
take.
single movie is tying into another subsequent movie or another important part of the overarching story.
Yep.
And like if you feel like they truly storyboarded this and recognized, hey, if we don't do this right, it will fuck everything up. So it's very important that we do it this way. And it seems like DC can't do that. Like, how many Batman movies have we had? And
Well,
and what Marvel did was also contract the hell out of their actors so that they won't lose them and so that they have them for that 10-20 year cycle, to make sure like Robert Downey Jr., you are with us until we say you're not. And then when you're done. And like I think doing that too, contracting these people that long out and making it worth their while.
Oh yeah.
Was amazing too, because then you keep these people and you keep that storyline. You can't, like you said, how many different Batmans? That's what DC is doing now. Is now the new Batman's a different universe.
That's Earth.
It's
Earth 2.
And that part. And I'm all for that. Like I'm all for those different series. Like the Joker coming out was really cool, like something different, and probably one of the best DC movies that have been put out.
You're talking about Joaquin Phoenix
Yep.
Joker?
Yep.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yep.
Oh, phenomenal.
Yep.
But it was meant to be a standalone film though, too.
Yep.
It wasn't part of this DC like cinematic universe.
Yep.
Yep.
But now they talk about how can they reintroduce that character somewhere else. And that's the part that kicks my butt, is like, you had something good, leave it at that and don't drag it on. The Snyder cut is the same thing for me. Like, you have something good here. They could capitalize on it right now, but they really screwed the pooch. And they have to retell all these storylines now because they don't necessarily have this one to utilize as canon.
Well, like,
Yeah.
one thing I like, just some good news on that front is that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, hopefully our next president. We'll get to that news later.
is that when you're actually gonna vote when The Rock becomes president?
I vote every time. No, but like so The Rock, I guess, since The Rock is playing Black Adam, and they just started
for
filming.
Shazam.
Yeah, he just started filming filming it today. Was the first day of filming, and he basically has the power to like override the WB executives, and he's good. He's really good friends with like Henry Cavill, and The Rock loves the Snyder Cut. So he actually wants, like, in future Black Adam films, because let's face it, it's The Rock. It's gonna be a big hit. And so, like, in future Black Adam films,
Oh yeah.
he wants like the Snyder Cut Justice League. He wants Ezra Miller. He
It
wants Henry
makes
Cavill.
sense.
He wants Ben
I
Affleck.
mean, like-
yeah,
The here's the frustrating thing. Like, so we have Suicide Squad, right? And then like, that sucked. Let's redo it with a better actor. Cool. But let's keep some of the key characters. Okay, interesting. And then like the new Batman. So like having fucking Twilight Edward doing it, which I'm a fan of.
he's
I'm
he's
not-
actually a
I'm
good
not shitting on
actor.
him. He's a great actor. I just don't remember Robert Pattinson.
Robert
That's
Pattinson.
what it is.
I remember him as
Like-
Cedric Diggory.
I like Batman Twilight much better.
Here's the thing though that I feel like they could do and like would make sense to me. So what I think the Snyder cut really made clear, so they tied up some loose ends. So I forget which movie exactly it was. I think it was Batman v Superman, right? Where you saw Robin's costume and like basically
Yeah.
like kind
All
of
these
hinting at the
weird
idea
hints, yeah.
that the Joker killed him. Blah,
I
blah,
wonder.
blah, blah.
I wonder which
then-
which Robin is it? Help me out here, Graham. Not Dick, but the one after Dick. I wonder if they're referring to that storyline.
Oh man,
Not
I
Dick.
just watched-
Not Dick
It's
Grayson.
hard to say. I don't even
Not-
think that they even thought of that. Like you're not talking about Dick Grayson. You're talking about the other one.
Jason Todd.
But, like,
yeah.
Here's
Jason.
the thing though, is like, so the other thing that you learned in the Snyder cut is that Batman no longer is in Gotham at all. They talk about, oh, he fought crime here for 20 years and then he left. So I feel like Batman has been basically in retirement for a while in this storyline. And so I really feel like they could make Robert Pattinson's character like the young version of Ben Affleck's Batman. I feel like that's a good way to tie these universes back in, because everything that I'm reading seems to indicate that Zack Snyder's saying, don't expect another movie. It's not happening.
Yeah. Well, I think he'll get worked into it, because the fact that the Snyder Cut has done better than any DC movie at this point. I think
Even more
I
than
think
like
there's an
Joker? You're talking like the new DC movies.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well, other than like Aquaman
and if they want to keep
Shazam.
if they're trying to keep this canon going, like they could really mess it up with the Flashpoint. Like they could mess up the whole thing and just really just dive in and say, okay, Robert Pattinson is the new Batman, because they could introduce him in there too. They could do so many things with Flashpoint to kind of reset this whole thing, but then they actually have to map it out like Marvel did and say, all right, the next 10 years, 15 years, this is what it is.
Well, like,
Yeah.
I think Flash is the only possibility for them to reset this whole
and
series.
that's actually like on like the online forums and like on Reddit and stuff. A lot of like the DC fans are saying, and there's rumors too that they're going to use the Flash movie to set up a Flashpoint to like basically clean up the continuity mess that they currently have. And I mean, they very well could do it. I mean, like the whole point of the Nightmare, like I don't know if you've read anything that's come out, but basically the Nightmare movie, Justice League 3, was going to be like Mira and Deadshot, not Deadshot,
Deathstroke.
No, I know who you're talking about. Deathstroke.
Deathstroke,
Yeah.
Batman, Joker, and the Flash were all going to like basically they're going to use one of the mother boxes to power the cosmic treadmill so that the Flash could, go back in time and warn Bruce to keep Lois Lane
he already
alive.
has gone back in time though. Remember, because
But that was
that
just-
one scene where he's like, "Am I too early?"
That was, and they actually explained that in the Nightmare where he said, when Joker said, "How many timelines have you destroyed trying to fix your mistake because you let Lois die?" So basically, like
And
it's
that's what I'm saying. That's why Flashpoint is the only possible saving grace to redo this whole franchise.
Yep. And
That's what's
if they-
annoying, though. Is
If
like
they fuck it up with Flashpoint, then Shazam doesn't mean anything. Black
Black Adam.
Black Adam.
Black Adam doesn't mean anything. It's just gonna be another stupid Rock movie.
Hey.
Well, that is
No,
a Shazam
his-
movie, isn't it? Isn't Black
his
Adam like?
movies, his movies suck. So don't even
No,
try to say
no.
he's a good anything.
Isn't Black Adam in the Shazam
Yes.
storyline?
He is in the in the last one. Yeah.
He originally
Okay.
He's
like-
the missing one, right?
he was
Mhm.
like the wizard or whatever that gave Shazam his powers. Originally gave Black Adam his powers, and it was like Ted Adam or something like that. It was actually really interesting. I was reading up on the history of Black Adam because I didn't know anything about him. So I'm like, yeah. he's like Shazam's like arch enemy. Like a lot of times Shazam or Black Adam is actually more powerful than Shazam, at least from what I've read and understood. So like he's a really good
Okay.
foil, and he's also like an anti-hero. He's not always evil. So like
Okay, I
he
got you.
really, but yeah, the
It
biggest
just makes. Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say the biggest problem that happened with the DCU or the DC Cinematic Universe, whatever you want to call it, was that the executives saw like the money that Marvel was making hand over fist, and they got greedy and they wanted that Avengers money instead of
Oh, they rushed it.
instead
It
of
seems like they
taking
rushed
yeah
everything.
instead
Yeah,
of taking their time
100%.
to actually like build it and be like, hey, you know, this is like, and looking at how Marvel did it, because like you said, Marvel started out with like, it was these small solo films. So you had Iron Man, Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the first Avenger, and then brought them all together for Avengers. And throughout all of those films, it was, you know, that was when the Infinity Stones were started. Well, not in Iron Man 1, but in Thor was, like, I believe, our first introduction to
With the Tesseract.
with the Tesseract. And then or not Tesseract, no,
But
it was Captain America, but like they were all building
Is
up.
that
They were all building up to that, you know. It was like they
But
took,
even with
took their
even
time.
with their TV series too, like all their TV, like the Netflix Marvel, all of that has indications of like Marvel. So like the Battle in New York and everything like that. Like they were tying everything into it
Well,
to make it work
fun,
out.
those are wiped clean now, though.
Yep.
Those are like booted out of the canon
And
now, which
they-
is weird.
Yeah,
and-
but when you're watching them though, they were following the same timeline, and so like that was
Mhm.
that always gave you that little extra excitement to be like they're really keeping track with what's going on here, at least through the next Netflix series, less of the Fox series stuff,
Yep.
but the Netflix one for
well,
sure.
and the thing was is
And
that
I think that's what it is. It's like
the thing was is that like at the time, like, okay, so like I know we're getting a little off topic of the DC, but at the time in Marvel you had Marvel Television and you had Marvel Studios. You had Marvel Studios being run by Feige, and then you had Marvel Television run by Ike Perlmutter, who is an absolute trash bag of a human being. And like he was awful. So basically the television series had to, like, they had to acknowledge the events of the main series of like the cinematic universe, but the cinematic universe never acknowledged the television series. Like originally it was supposed to happen, but it was when the Disney finally got smart and was like gave Feige the reins, which I believe was after Age of Ultron. Because before then all the Marvel movies were basically like creative committee. So it's actually
do you know Feige did the first and second X-Men?
Yep, and he's also been at least a creative consultant on every single Spider-Man film. Feige lives and breathes like Marvel. He loves Marvel. That's why he's like perfect for the role he's in.
Oh, for sure.
All right, so I want to go back to why The Rock sucks.
No,
How do you not like The Rock?
I'm gonna mute you.
Oh, come on.
The Rock's
Come on.
awesome.
What are you talking about?
I don't understand. I don't
Name-
understand how
name-
you don't.
Okay, name a movie where The Rock, name a movie in the last 5 years where The Rock is awesome.
Jumanji.
Jumanji, man, both 1 and 2.
Damn
mean-
it, okay, I'll give you Jumanji.
If you want to go back,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
Name a bad movie he's been in the last 15 years. I swear to God, if you say Scorpion King, I'll kick you in the tit. The
Oh,
movie slapped and you know it.
yeah, it was just the CG
which
was awful.
Scorp? Oh, okay,
No,
He's
not
not-
CGI
not-
Rock.
not the
Mummy.
movie. Not the mummy.
Oh, you're talking
actual
about the Scorpion King.
movie.
That movie is pretty fun.
Okay,
not
The
gonna-
when
Rock
he's
is
like-
good. Now, early Rock, like I'm a huge fan of early Rock when he's in like
Walking Tall.
Okay, GI Joe was trash.
Oh yeah, that one
Come on,
was.
he was.
It was
Or
still
Doom?
fun. Doom was awesome.
Doom.
It was
What?
bad. It was
I
terrible,
didn't
but it
see
was
it.
fun.
I
Alan,
didn't see it.
Alan.
It was
Alan.
all. It was, I mean, I'll give it to you. It was absolutely terrible as a movie, but that first person sequence was absolutely like
Oh,
I've never you've never seen a
I've
film
never
do
seen
that.
it.
It's
okay, what about San Andreas?
it
Never
actually
seen
it's not terrible,
Shut
but
up!
it's not.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Obviously,
Shut
it's not like Oscar material.
Okay, Pain and Gain, he was great in. GI Joe, he absolutely sucked in.
Yeah, that movie was terrible. But
All the
fun.
Fast and Furious movies are trash.
Yeah, 100%.
The other guys, he was in it for 5 minutes, and
Hilarious.
that was one of his best moments. Was his 5 minutes in the other guy.
Be Cool.
Do you want to know why? Because he jumped off a building and died. How about Planet 51, where he played a white astronaut?
That's
seen
actually
it.
it's animated.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Yep.
Get Smart, he was good, and Race to Witch Mountain was stupid.
Never saw it.
Game Plan was stupid.
Hey, no, Game Plan's awesome.
Be Cool was awesome because he played a gay security guard.
Yep.
The Rundown and Walking Tall are like two of my favorite movies he's
Dude.
ever done.
Oh, Gridiron.
Oh, so you absolutely love The Rock, is what it sounds like.
No. 5 of his 38 movies in the last 5 years I like.
Well, he was also in Gridiron Gang, which is also pretty good if you like inspirational sports movies.
Yeah,
What's
Alan
that
sure
one
loves
movie
them.
where he only has one leg? What movie was that?
WrestleMania 17.
No. Like he has like a prosthetic leg, and he's like Skyscraper.
Oh,
That movie was good.
I actually haven't
No,
seen
it
that
was
one.
not.
I haven't seen that one.
How about Rampage? Come
I
on.
didn't.
Hey.
Oh no, that one was pretty good too.
Rampage was
It doesn't
fun.
have to win an Oscar to be good. It could just be like, you know what? I felt
Oh,
a
no.
little adrenaline. Fine.
No, don't worry. I mean, didn't he win an Oscar for Moana?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I think he
and
did.
he's in Moana.
Yeah, I actually
can I
hate that
say
movie
except
now
you're
because
welcome?
because of my kids.
How can you hate Moana?
Moana's
It's
awesome.
like
I
the
don't
one
hate
movie
Moana.
I don't care. I don't. I personally I could watch that movie 100 times in the background. It doesn't bother
Yep.
me at all.
Moana?
So-
No, I actually
So
love that
that's a
movie
good
too.
one.
All right, okay, so I'm like
Jake
70
says,
30.
so Jake said that Alan just says movies are fun instead of saying bad.
Oh no, there's
So-
some absolutely bad movies. I just every time I've watched a movie with The Rock in it, I've at least enjoyed it and had fun. Even
That's
as
the,
off.
that's the WWE fan base in you.
That's
No.
you and a lot of people, honestly.
The Rock and John Cena could do no wrong.
No, I'm
Hey,
not.
by the way, on WWE, did you see NWA
NWO.
or NWO come out and like nearly break their ankles trying to walk out on
Oh
stage?
yeah. Kevin Nash was like bow-legged and everything.
Oh my gosh. Like I love that they're honoring them and everything, but then when you see them, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Either like I don't know, it's almost sad
So,
to see them like
just-
come back out and try to do the thing again, you know?
Just a little side note is that I guess I didn't watch WrestleMania this year, which is like the first time in like 10 years I haven't. But like when Hulk Hogan came out with Titus O'Neil, Hulk Hogan got absolutely booed out of the stadium.
Yeah, because
Yikes.
He's a
he's
racist.
disgusting.
He's a racist.
He's a disgusting human being.
He really is. And
All
I
right, well,
used to be a
while
Hulk
we're on
maniac, but
While we're on the topic of movies, I think it's a good segue into our new section of our shows, the Ask Reddit section. Because I have some, I think you're really gonna like this first
Ask Reddit
question.
or Ask Reddit?
Ask Reddit.
Oh,
Ask
okay.
Reddit.
Because that's
I
probably a
think-
subreddit too.
Yeah, probably. All right. So here's the first Ask Reddit question that I have for you guys, and I'll go last. Graham, you can go first.
Oh great.
A time traveler from 1921 arrives in 2021. What's the first movie you show them and why? And this was submitted by Slump Diddy, so credit goes to Slump Diddy for the question.
What's the first movie I show them? Does it have to be of this year?
Nope. They just arrived from 1921 into 2021. What's the first movie you show them?
I have a great answer.
Oh, oh my gosh! I don't even have that. Alan, did you prep for this answer?
No, but I already know right away what I would.
Oh no. Okay, Alan. Let's have Alan go first because he's like giddy over here.
I would show them The Force Awakens, so that absolute trash bag abortion of a sequel trilogy never gets made. Tell them, make sure this is never made, ever.
By the way, when you go back, fix Star Wars for me.
It's not even that bad. Like, I don't understand why everybody hates them so much.
He could pick anything like he could pick anything like Gone with the Wind or Wizard of Oz or something like that.
No.
He picks.
Oh, I promise you, mine's just as trash.
Oh, come on. Okay, you go next then. Come on.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I
All
gotta
right,
hear you.
all right, sounds good. All right, so the movie that I would choose to show somebody would be Cannibal Holocaust. Because here's the thing. So
What the
they're
hell?
coming from 1921,
God.
right? So here's my argument for this one. So number one, in 1921, there was still steady what's the word I'm looking for? Exploiting primitive cultures quite a bit. And so exploiting Native Americans, South Americans, just anybody who was primitive, just exploiting them and treating them like a sideshow, right? That and everything was like hyper Christian and hyper like censored. Like there wasn't a lot that you could like show and do in the 20s just because society was very conservative in terms of content. So yes, I would love to show somebody a movie where these regular old white people roll up into South America to film and mess with natives in Venezuela and proceed to get fucking murdered in various ways, like impaling one through her butt, all the way up, straight up killing her, or like doing unsavory stuff to people with rocks. I'll leave it at that. But basically,
You're gonna take a guy from the 20s whose worst thing he's seen was the Titanic sink,
and you're gonna show him like one of like
yeah, because at the end it's talking about like at the end they're talking about like they came there to document the monsters, but they didn't realize that they were in fact the monsters the entire time, because everything that these cannibals are doing to those people is because like literally these people went and like set fire to their village just for the views, like just so they could record it in their documentary. And so like everything was payback. It kind of reminds me of like those like Jake says they probably experienced World War I. That's true. So I mean they're already used to like pissing in a rag and holding up to their mouth because of like the I think it's mustard gas or chlorine gas or something like that. Anyways.
Yeah.
That's what they did in World War I. But
Jake
yeah, like he probably will in the chat. But I naturally I like shocking people. Shocking, right? See what I did there? But like
you could have just showed them porn, like at that point.
This will change your life.
But that's not the kind of shock I'm going for. Like if the question, you know what? We're streaming it live on YouTube. I'm not getting into it.
Yeah.
But what I will say is I really get a kick out of like shocking people, whether it's like through like grossing them out or like making them feel a little uncomfortable with what I'm showing them.
Or extremely.
Yeah. So I mean, like I felt like even like I could have said a Serbian film.
That was you had a point where Alan just had an asinine answer. You're like, I got mine's just as asinine, and then you come up with like an actual point. I'm gonna go with Encino Man.
Encino Man.
No, how dare you?
Just to let him know, don't ever let us get here, because we did, and we saved it for a little bit. We could go back. I don't know, Encino Man. That or Earth Girls are easy.
Well.
Why Encino Man though?
Yeah,
I like Encino Man.
I mean, Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore, man. Pauly Shore's great.
Because isn't it Pauly Shore and Brendan Fraser?
Fraser, yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any real answer to this question. I mean, I think about it. You
I-
want to be realistic and like and say something like you did. You know, I think I would go back and if you're looking at like preventing history, you could look at things like any sci-fi, right? Like anything sci-fi. Or you know, or if you want to make a mockery, you could be like, we're gonna watch Baywatch and see what good things come out of California, and they can watch
Yep.
Encino Man and see what bad things come out of California. You know, like,
Jake said Biodome would be another good one.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
disagree.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good one.
There we go. Biodome and anything Pauly Shore. We're just gonna do a Pauly Shore marathon and be like, please fucking save us.
They're gonna need those movies for eye bleach after watching Cannibal Holocaust, anyways.
Right.
Okay,
okay,
I
so,
actually do have a
second-
reason why I chose like the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, but here's the
I just
thing.
didn't get a chance to share it.
It's not that bad. Everybody wants to talk about how bad it is, but you're a bunch of fucking nerds.
No,
Like
no.
they're
Like
going too far into it.
I'm not
That's what
saying
it comes down to. They're
I'm
good
not-
movies
I'm not-
in their own right.
I'm not saying that they're terrible movies, but what I'm saying is that the
You've been
expectation
calling them an abortion.
that because they are, they're a failed one.
That's pretty bad. Like
There was parts of it I liked, okay? There was parts of it I liked. I mean, Force Awakens was essentially just a reskin of A New Hope, but then like then The Last Jedi came along and it was just like, oh no, everything that was set up in the previous movie, we're just gonna throw it out because screw you guys, screw the fans. And then the Rise of Skywalker comes out and it's like we have to try to erase the contents of an entire movie just to like attempt to make sense, and then instead it was like, oh hey look, you know, Palpatine's back, there's no explanation, ha 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 ha.
Hey, they still did better than Joss Whedon did with the Justice League.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
See, full
circle.
full circle. Next question is, what is the worst what is the worst I'm gonna die situation you've been through?
Graham, I think you got a couple answers, don't you?
I
That's
got
not
one too.
fair because I've almost died a couple times.
Hey, I did too. I mean, I wasn't on a table or anything, but I got a story too. But I'll let you go
Yeah,
first again.
I wasn't either. I was on a lawn chair with you. That was one time I almost died.
Oh yeah, tell that story.
No,
And
I'm
if
not
you don't
telling that
remember,
story.
I'll tell that story.
I know you remember. That was way different than my version.
I'll take out some details, being that we're on YouTube. But I'll tell this story for Graham. So Graham and I were at Northern Invasion, and basically
20 years ago.
Yeah, it was weird because Northern Invasion's in May, like early May, and like one of two things will happen: either it's going to be like 40 degrees and just cold as shit, or it's going to end up being 85, 90 degrees, full ass sun. Well, the year that Graham went with us to Northern Invasion, it was one of those years where it was 90 degrees and full ass sun.
Oh,
And
that was the third day. We got there on a Thursday and it was cold Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday it went.
Yep. So Graham and myself and a couple other people, we go to see this rapper named Whitney Payton. And we're drinking all morning.
ETW, she's rocking it, man.
It just
I don't know if
slaps.
Yeah.
So Graham and I, we all go to this, we all get up early, we start drinking. My other friend Derek, he's hammered at 10:30 in the morning, and we go to Whitney Payton. He's and so he gets so drunk, he gets back. We all go back to the tent, and Derek goes back into the tent and he falls asleep. And like we're just all chilling. At this point, Graham's still okay. And then basically I hear Derek in the tent just, and I go in there, and it's like 120 degrees in that tent. And he's dripping in sweat. And I slap him. And I say, dude, you got to get up. You're going to die. And so he comes out there, and like we put some cold water on him. And he's like, oh, man, thanks. I needed that. So dumbass Graham this whole time is also trying to find a place to like rest his head. And Graham and I ate some cookies. We'll leave it at that.
And we were drinking Tran drinks all day for like 3 days in a row.
Tran treats. And
Tran treats.
so like we'll just say that the cookies had like sleep medicine in them. We'll just say that. And so these are some
melatonin.
these are very, very strong melatonin cookies. And I look at Graham and he's like in the chair next to me just and
like,
I've had so much melatonin in me that I'm like, dude, like I can't have you dying next to me, man. Like you got to tell me, should I be calling an ambulance or something? And like I got like a brand new tent this year, and Graham like turns around, he's in my brand new chair, and just starts puking all over himself, all in the cup holder, in the pocket of my chair, all in the front of my tent. And like before this happened, like he's like sitting there damn near drooling, like he's literally having a heat stroke.
Yep.
He's so hot, so hopped up on melatonin. Like we were like this close to calling an ambulance over to our tent, and we couldn't get him in. I know many of you are thinking, well, why didn't you put him in the vehicle and have the AC on? Well, the night before, we all got really drunk, and Ryback and I were sitting in his truck with the radio on, jamming to music and drinking beers. So we killed the truck that night. So we had no AC. But motherfucker pukes, and we like take a shirt, put it in the cooler, and put it around him. He pukes. Oh, I feel so much better. What?
No,
What?
no, because you guys stripped me down and you found someone to jump start the truck, and then you threw me in the truck. I sat in the truck for like 2 hours, and then I took a nap in the tent while you're like, I'm not leaving you, man. I'm gonna stay here with you, man. I remember at one point I tried to hide from the sun. Yeah, he missed half a day of music because of me. I
wouldn't say it's because of you. Like that was way more important to me. It was making sure you were okay.
Yeah. But I did feel good enough to get ourselves down to Tool that night. And
yes,
so like
that is true.
And Tool on melatonin was phenomenal.
100%. The thing is, like the whole weekend, Graham is hobbling around like he's 75 years old, and like I was like, I'll hang back with you, man. Like I know, like because the other people that are with us, they're like getting up and going and going and going.
Like, they're all 22-year-olds, and I was
50
younger than I am now.
But anyways, Graham
I remember one moment when I was like right before I got to the lawn chair and was like done. I went to go pee by the truck, by Ryback's truck, and it was so hot. I was like, I need to find shade, that I laid in my pee and hid underneath the truck, and then I'm like, oh crap. And I got up and moved. It was not a shining moment for me at all. And I don't have a lot of those. Alan should know. He plays in a band with me. I don't have a lot of those like crazy moments like that. But whew,
yeah. So basically, when it comes to music festivals, and like Ryback always says, "Is Graham coming?" I'm like, I hope so. He's like, is he gonna die? Is he gonna almost die again this year? Every time. It just says. For me, the time I almost died, I was at my camp that I grew up at with my wife, and we were going to school there at that point. And basically, I had a van full of kids that I took up to the climbing wall. So up this really long, steep hill is where they had our climbing wall for the camp. And basically, I when we were all done, I stopped at the top of the hill and I said, all right, does everybody have their seatbelt on? And all the kids like, yep, we do. It's like, all right, cool. I will say, neither my wife or I think, had ours on. So we're going down the hill, and we're picking up speed, and I try to hit the brakes. And the brake goes right to the floor. And this is like steep hill. And so like I'm like, I cannot slow down. And so I'm in this big 15-passenger van. And so down at the bottom of the hill, this way, you have a road, and then it's another hill going down. So hill, road, hill. And basically on the other side of the road, there's this landing, like where people like park their vehicles at the house. So when I get down on the bottom of that hill, I realize I have two choices. Either I can keep going forward, or what's going to end up happening is I'm going to go right off of that landing and I'm going to crash this van straight up into this person's house. Or I can try and just crank it right as fast as I can as soon as I get to the bottom of that hill when I hit the road. In my mind, I wasn't thinking, because realistically, by doing that, there's no reason that I shouldn't have rolled that van. But what happened is I went hard right after I hit the road. I went over the side of the landing, and I literally landed with like this much room on each side between two trees.
Dang, good.
Yeah. And so I was like, what the fuck? So we all walked back to the camp, which is like 10 minutes away. Everybody like, is everybody okay? We're like, yeah, we're all fine. And like literally as I turned, I had to like hold my arm out so Alicia didn't go flying, but I didn't have brakes, so it's not like she could have really went flying because we didn't really stop. But like I went to the camp, I told the maintenance guy, I'm like, there's no brakes. Like I could not stop. He's like, there's no way. There's no possible way. And like I was like, just like I was already in shock, like, dude, I could have died. I could have crashed this into somebody's house. And he came up to me later and he's like, yeah, you're right. There was a hole in the brake line. Like there wasn't any fluid in there. There was no way you could stop. I'm like, I know. That's why I said it.
Alan, our plans were foiled.
Yeah. And so, but the nice thing is they ended up building another road that in a case of emergency road that you can go keep going right, and it basically goes up the hill again.
Do they call it the Asher Road?
They called it Asher Lane. Yep. So yeah, I have a road named after me because a vehicle tried to kill me. But luckily, I'm not religious, as you guys know, but something was looking out for me that day, because nobody got hurt. But yeah, that's how I almost died. How about you, Alan?
I'm not entirely sure, but I wonder if
sounds good. Next question.
I think we should probably. I think we should probably go with Matt. Probably the time we went on to Jake's. And
I don't think you almost died. I think you just.
I think I consumed. I think I consumed like enough that it would have killed like a normal human.
Damn near.
Damn near. I've seen that out of you a couple times.
Yeah, but this is before Alan ever really drank.
Oh man. Well, we got him to drink a lot.
This is before Alan, like when Alan used to sit at the fire with Rob and drink like a whole bottle of like Route 100.
Yeah.
And
like
then
this is before that.
This is pre that.
This is like Alan tried to drink like more, like half or more than a bottle of tequila, and like he was so drunk he's sitting there splashing in his puke. And like it was disgusting.
I haven't had disgusting Alan drunk, but I've had Alan trying to touch my butthole with his finger in his tent once.
That was not me.
He was rolling around like a fish out of water on the tent floor, and like giggling like a little baby, trying to touch my butt. And he's like, "Grab, come here." Don't matter.
Okay.
I've also in reverse. I've tried to do that to Alan, so
yeah, that also tracks. All right,
Alan's in the book above me.
This is the last Ask Reddit question of this week, and that is, what movie scene can always get you sad or teary-eyed no matter what? There's got to be one.
Alan, stop moaning. It's turning me on.
What's your movie, Graham?
Oh, I have a hard time when it has to do with anything of like a parent dying or a child dying.
Okay.
And it's like bad. So like some TV shows that I get into, like when it really gets to a point of like someone like you get invested into that character, and then something happens, like that's super hard. Like, and it could be anything from like Sons of Anarchy to like even freaking the stupid Walking Dead series or Chicago or something like that. Like if you get really invested into a character and something happens to them like that, and then anything
Yeah.
Disney, because they're a bunch of assholes and they kill every parent anyway.
Ooh, but something consistently. Like you could watch this movie 100 times and it
Oh,
would still make
100.
you feel that way. Like what's a movie? Like I have a movie that I don't watch because it will make me cry. Like I won't watch A Walk to Remember because it will make me cry. Because like homegirl's got cancer and like he's like asking her to marry him even though she literally only has like a year to live. Like I don't even like sappy movies. Like I make fun of people who watch dumb shit like The Notebook or something like that. But like A Walk to Remember, that shit makes me cry. And that's why I won't watch it anymore. Because like no matter how many times I watch it, I'm gonna cry.
Mm.
I mean, there's a couple.
Do you have anything like that?
There's a couple for me. So like, one would be this is gonna sound really stupid, but Armageddon. At the end when
You're right, that does sound really stupid.
it does, but every
but
time.
I want to know why. I want to know why.
So like every time
I'm happy you didn't say like Star Wars.
No. But every time like it gets to the part where like Bruce Willis like shoves Ben Affleck or like shoves him into the lift and like says take care of my little girl for me, like sacrifices himself to like save Ben Affleck and the world. It was like every time. And then that Aerosmith song comes on.
I was gonna say that fucking Aerosmith song's on, you just
and then
I cry because that song comes on.
and then the other one would be in Endgame when like Spider-Man turns to Tony, says, "Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good," and you just start to
you mean in
Infinity War.
I will give you that because like when he comes rolling back in, like hard, at the end of the movie, then I was like,
yep.
Like I did tear up a little bit at that. Yep. Both times I've watched that movie, I have teared up at that part.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like one that I will be like that for sure. Okay, it has to go to Star Wars too because when Han Solo gets killed by his son, like that part was like hearing Chewbacca, like that kicked my butt. Like stupid as it is, like that kicked my butt to hear that. It's a Robin Williams movie though, is my other one, and I can't remember the name.
Is it the one where he's like a giant kid?
Patch Adams?
No.
Or
Patch
Good Will
Adams.
Hunting?
That's a good one. They're all good, but
it's not your fault. It's not your fault, Graham. It's not your fault.
Yeah. I have to find it, but it's the one where it's like the dream one. What is that one, Alan?
Dream one.
Pan?
Not Pan. Dang nabbit.
No, because
no, Hook. Hook?
Yeah.
No,
Hook.
Not Hook. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna find it. It's so stupid, but I don't know. He like anything that he does where he has like an emotional, like even if you watch like Mrs. Doubtfire, you can always get like a little teared up when at the end of the show when he's talking about his kids, and he's in that ridiculous outfit, but you can see like he was such a good actor, an emotional actor. Like almost anything that he does when it comes to like him like snapping, like being super serious, can just kick my butt every single time.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'll find the movie and tell you guys when we're talking about gun laws and stuff. Because I know that's coming.
You know, I was gonna say I feel like with the time we may want to address that one next episode.
Yep.
Since we've been live here, I think for about an hour and 15.
Yep.
And I guarantee you that we're gonna take about another hour on that.
Yep.
So I think we may save that for episode.
What Dreams May Come. That's the name of the show.
I've never even seen that one. But in the interest of the time, I'm also going to ask one more Ask Reddit question.
Okay.
So tell me more about this movie because I've never
okay.
seen
So
it.
anyway, What Dreams May Come. He dies in an accident and goes to heaven, and his wife kills herself out of grief, and the whole thing's about reuniting with her because she kills herself, and so where does she go? She doesn't go to heaven, right? and so it's him trying to like bend time and all that, like bend the rules and everything like that to get back to his wife. And that it's a trippy, but it's like super. It sucks. And he when he does like his serious movies, like he's just spot on. Like it will kick your butt every time.
I actually have one more to
Hmm.
add. Interstellar.
Well, that
Oh,
movie's
yeah, dude.
real good.
Interstellar.
That movie's-
Like every time when like he like when Murph like
He's
calls
locked
him.
in the bookshelf or whatever.
Well, not just that part, but also like even before then, when like before they go through the wormhole, and like he's or like no, it's not through the wormhole. It's after they go through the wormhole and they get back from the planet that's like inside the black hole's gravitational well. Was it Miller's planet or something? And he comes up and like he's like watching all of those like years of messages because of time dilation and all that, and like he just like and then he gets to the one where it's like his son is talking about well, he had children and then like how like one of his children died and then all of a sudden like it's like you're like already reeling from like that news and like you're seeing the emotion in his face and then it cuts like to like Murphy like basically like blah blah blah. Did you know? Like it was after the one lead head NASA guy died, and so like, did you know that like this was all a lie? Like plan A was never gonna happen. It was always about plan B, which was like sending a seed ship to another planet. And it was like, and then she's like, just like, did you leave me here to die, Dad, or whatever? And then again, yeah, like when they're in the bookshelf room, the Tesseract inside the singularity, like that part too. Like he's like,
Yeah.
it's love, Tars.
Oh god. Here, this will make you cry all the way. I don't know. We'll probably get in trouble for this one. Where's my camera?
Mm-hmm.
What do you see here?
Oh God.
Dun, 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 dun.
That movie is good.
And
I'm just kidding. That movie is great.
the last thing is his hand with the thumbs up. It's so sad. It's so sad. Look at him. He's crying, little
He's
bitch. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh, Jake has a good one. He says, honestly, any movie where a kid is abandoned or their dad dies gets me bad now.
Disney.
Oh,
Jake. Disney.
yeah, that's a Disney thing for sure.
What is it with Disney and
All
always
right.
killing off one parent or having one parent absent?
I don't know. All right, here's the final Reddit question of the evening, and
He just
We'll,
ignored your
we'll-
question, Alan.
no, I said it's Disney. It's what they do. I don't have a good answer
Oh.
because they know because Disney tries to hook you in emotionally, and that's how they do it. They get your investment into the movie through that emotion, and then they also work on the payoff with the climax of the film. That's Disney's
just a
formula
little
one.
sidetrack is you ever notice how like the first Toy Story Andy's mom is pregnant? And it's like what happened?
Oh my god.
Whatever happened
No.
to the dad?
Toy Story 3 where they're going down and they're going to get burned in the machine and they're all Jesus
Oh,
Christ. Are you kidding me?
Thanks for reminding me of that. Now I'm gonna like go cry the rest of the night.
I can't
All right.
I can't watch it. I have to look at the exit sign every time.
Last question. What is your oldest memory and how old were you?
That's not fair cuz I'm old.
Yeah. He's ancient.
Well, you
It
still
keeps
have
moving-
an oldest memory.
It keeps moving up the older I get.
I still okay. So my oldest memory that I have, I had to have been probably 2. So the one that I have where like it's very, very, very fragmented is I remember being in this old ass apartment before my sister was born. So I had to have been maybe 1 or 2 and sitting in a high chair, and eating Cheerios and seeing like I don't remember if it was a CD or a poster of The Wall, Pink Floyd The Wall. That's it. It's like a split second of a memory. That's all I have of it. But beyond that, the oldest memory I have beyond that would probably be being at the Lincoln Street house, and which means nothing to you guys, but that would have been before I moved to White Lake. So it was when I still lived in Anago. And I remember every time I would get in trouble, my little sister Jordan, I would coax her to come and grab me by the finger and lead me out and say, "Mom, I want to play with my brother," in order to get my mom to let me out of the bedroom. So I was probably like 3 or 4 at that point. Probably like 4, because I think that's about the time we moved to White Lake. I was like 5 at that point. But that would be the one that I remember more clearly. But that's about as old as I got. 3 or 4 years old is how old I can go back.
Man, I remember sneaking under my parents' wicker couch watching Purple Rain when it came out. When they like rented it on VHS or Turbo Max VHS, whatever it would have been back in the.
Sure, it
But that's
wasn't
like
Beta.
1980.
You sure it wasn't Betamax?
Betamax. It's probably Betamax. It was 84, so it could have been top load everything. But I remember that, and it was on. They didn't have a color TV then; it was a black and white TV. But I remember watching it on black and white TV, hiding underneath the couch, watching it. And probably around the same time, like a fondest memory would be that. That was always like a super fond memory. A couple bad ones. And then like my grandfather, the things are like my grandfather died in 88, but like the thing I remember most of like being young is when he used to drive cast clay milk truck and do delivery, and he'd come home at like 2:00, 3:00 in the morning, and I remember like hearing him come in. I remember him kicking his boots off and putting it by the fireplace, and then he'd sit in his chair, and I'd go lay on his belly, and he had these big, huge like mitts for hands, and I remember these like just big hands, and laying on his tummy, and he'd like put me back to sleep. Yeah.
Yep. I kind of have memories like that with my grandpa Asher, because he died probably when I was like 4. And like I just remember he always sat in the same chair, and he had emphysema, so he's always had his little nostril thing in his nose.
Nasal cannula.
Yeah, and like always like say, and then he'd always call me Gonzo. Like that was my nickname back then. It's like, "Hey Gonzo." That's all I remember, is just sitting on his lap on his chair and him calling me Gonzo. And then he ended up dying of emphysema, and I had great memories of him until later on I find out other things about him. But yeah, I'm not. Neither of my sisters remember him at all. That's the only memory I have. So, all right, Alan, what's your oldest memory?
Our oldest memory would be that it's like you. It's just like just kind of like a hint. It was like 2 or 3. It was with my grandpa walking through the garden, and that's like because he always had a huge, massive garden. So I remember that my fondest would probably be the day after my brother was born, the day he came home from the hospital. I was like 5. I was 5 years old, and that was it was pretty cool. I don't know, but it was like,
oh yeah, no, I don't remember when Jordan was born, but when Jess was born, I do remember that.
Yeah,
that was a good moment.
And I remember like my brother got brought home, and like I got to sit and hold him, and actually sat for quite a while. I didn't want to give him up to anyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, and like, so how old are your niece and nephews? They're like 8, right? Like 7 or 8 is your oldest, right?
8, I think. No.
Yeah, I thought that your niece was probably like, because Whitney turns. Well, no, she's got to be like 7. Because I think Whitney's a little bit older. Than her, but they're really close.
Yep.
See, my first niece, Divine, she was born, I want to say, well, she's 18 now, so 18 years ago would put me, like 15 or 16 is when she was born, and like I barely remember that at all. Like I mainly remember more of like my niece Serene, but like I have the most memories of them both together when they're both really little. But yeah, I remember when they came home, I was so excited. Like, 'cause I had these tiny little nieces and like, um, I don't know, it was just really cool. Like, not many people my age had baby nieces and
Yep.
nephews, so like, I was like the coolest uncle ever back then. Probably not so much anymore because I'm old and boring, but back then, I was the coolest uncle ever.
Yep.
So, but well, that's cool. Those are some good memories.
Nice.
Like yeah. So I hope you guys liked that little part. It's something Graham and I used to do back in the day.
Yeah, it was a
And
lot of fun back in the day. This was a good one.
yeah. But yeah, in the interest of time, we're gonna save our next part for episode 2 of the second season. So get
Yeah.
ready. We're gonna kind of give you a sneak peek. We're going to talk about some of the gun legislation that's being passed around by Joe Biden and Congress and all that. And then also want to talk more about maybe the Chauvin trial, as well as the riots that have been happening in Brooklyn Park.
Brooklyn
Right?
Center.
Yeah.
Yep.
So more riots down in the cities. Kind of going into more on that. And it's gonna be a lot of time discussing that. So probably best to have it as its own episode. But
Right.
we hope you guys liked the live episode. For those of you who've been here the entire time, really appreciate you being here. Jake, thanks for commenting the whole time.
Yeah.
We like I said, we're gonna do this I think every 3 episodes, right? Or was it every 4th?
It's every 4th. Yep. So we're gonna do a live YouTube, and then we're gonna do 2 recorded ones. And the third recorded one is going to be a guest, and then every 4th one is going to be the restart. So then we'll do a live again. So so next week we have a recorded, and then we have a recorded with a guest, and I got a guest for us for our first one of the seasons, so season 2. So
nice.
unless you do, I got like 4. I got a group that wants to come on.
Well, we have to get Jake on at some point here. That's the next goal, and then obviously we want to get Jordan and Jeff back on as well. We enjoyed their time here as well. But yeah, as for right now, this has been It's a Graham and Matt podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Graham.
And I'm Alan.
Peace, guys. See you next time.
Peace.